Fires of detractors celebrating in the night, falling from the pedestal in an endless flight. Everyone's abandoning the sinking ship so fast, losing grip on reality, can't outrun the past.
What is going on, guys? We are back for another DSP video, and what a week it was for DSP. He had one of the worst ideas for DSP Tries It. DSP wants to go back to one of the laziest events in the history of DSP. And then it's time. The big build-up for 2 weeks. The final co-host of Smart Guys. And he said, diapers will be filled. He said, everybody is going to be shocked. So there should be a huge guest lined up. We'll see about that. And we start off with warts in your bag. You know, if your parents don't get you this, you will carry the emotional scars for the rest of your lives. And what some people have been doing is going to AI and making a toy version of people. And apparently someone made it as DSP, the king of beggars. And he has his tip cup, his Zelda pajamas, his bubble gun, and his paper plates. And would you look at that? $1,114 wasted on WWE champions for Down from the Rafters. And Otter has a theory on this. Kick subs are the new source for Down from the Rafters, not DSP, to match for WWE champion spending. And also points out DSP gets paid weekly by Kick now. And then we have an update on PWR. And he's now gonna call out DSP for abusing his audience.
While when DSP doesn't hit his fucking goal, he's like, I guess my wife's gonna starve tonight, guys.
Okay, I gotta admit, that is true.
Is effing mine.
That is true. That, you know, compared to me, like, just using money to get food and sharing it with you guys, like, when Phil does do that and he's mentioning, like, oh, if I don't, like, hit the goal, oh, I guess we gotta cook supper tonight, like, that's bullcrap. That's abusing your audience.
Then we have Baldo. PWR is proof that you just need to do the opposite of what Phil is doing to be a successful streamer. And that brings us to Sunday with the pre-stream. DSP, good morning everyone. Can't wait to look at Marathon, which is a game that's coming out. Then we have Bronto. Good, robust, and flavorful morning everyone. I've heard there's potentially 84 characters in Mario Kart World. About 56 have been revealed so far. DSP Gaming, I hope there's some actual new ones, as there's been 0 revealed to that effect so far. And then Bronto, tons of the ones revealed were new. DSP Gaming, oh, I missed that then. Then we have Chaos Realm in the chat. Philip and or Catherine, you need to rewatch your couple's Q&A, because things are changing between now and last year. And then remember too, last week was his wedding anniversary. He refused to take the actual day off. He says the following week he's gonna celebrate it and take an extra day off. Now my question is, Phil, why didn't you just take your wedding anniversary off in the first place? Instead, you took a day off the following week. Make that make sense, and you control your own schedule. However, in between that, he had a day off. So this is the perfect opportunity to celebrate the wedding anniversary, but Phil did not do that. Let's hear what Phil did on his day off instead of celebrating his wedding anniversary.
I very much enjoyed it. I didn't have a ton of stuff to do, so I just basically did a few quick errands and then spent a lot of time at home relaxing. We had some great food. Yesterday, we ended up ordering dim sum and had an amazing variety of different dumplings and buns. We had these pan-fried rice buns with pork inside that were absolutely amazing. We had a shrimp dumpling that with green onion that was so packed with shrimp, it was amazing. There was a pork and shrimp shumai, and even a new one that I can't remember what it was called, but it was like a combination of like a spicy sauce with peanuts and meat. They were amazing. All right, so it was a really good day of just relaxing. My wife actually tried out Grounded on Game Pass because she was just curious about it. She had heard about it for years. I hadn't played it since like the early beta or whatever. And Grounded essentially is Minecraft. Like, I'm not kidding. It plays just like Minecraft. Everything that they've designed in that game is basically a copy of Minecraft, only it's with bugs, and, you know, and you're shrunken. but it's pretty much almost the same game. And I was like, a little weird that they really bit off Minecraft that much. She played it for a couple of hours and kind of got bored and was like, nah, you know, it's just not for me. And I was like, well, just so you know, like that formula is the formula of Minecraft and a whole bunch of other survival games. So if you don't like Grounded, you're probably not going to like Minecraft and these other games too. Because my wife had actually watched some of my Minecraft stream from the other day and was interested in maybe trying it herself. But then she tried Grounded instead and didn't like it. And I was like, well, you're just not going to like Minecraft then. So anyway, outside of that, you know, some relaxing stuff, watch some TV together. And
DSP cannot take accountability, cannot accept loss, even in fighting games. And now, the new excuse for why he was doing bad last Friday in Friday Night Fights. You ready for this? His TV. That is right. He is blaming his TV being in 4K for the reason he got his ass beat on Friday night. This is extra pathetic. Now that DSP is 43, he does a review of being 43 for an entire week. This man is isolated in his own world, detached from reality, and he thinks, oh, I'm older, I'm wiser, I'm more intelligent. No, you're a jackass. And you can tell every single day he gets more and more detached from reality. But he thinks, in the future, people are gonna come to him for advice because he's older and mature, and they can learn from him. And while that is partially true, basically, whatever Phil does, do the opposite. Now to me, this was his worst stream ever, and he did this 3 times, where he made a goal. People would pay him to hit this goal, and the reward would be for his audience to watch him clean out his closet. That is right, household duties. But this man needs $1,500 to do it again. And not only that, for every $50, he'll wear a hat. $100, he'll wear a vest. That is right, they are back because he wants this as the hat and vest retirement stream as well. And it was so funny, the last time he did this, it proved that he did bankruptcy fraud. Because on the official government papers, he said, I have no collectibles, I have nothing outside my business that I could sell, no electronics, no games, no nothing like that. And then all of a sudden, he started cleaning out his closet and finding all these electronics, all these collectibles. It's basically a fraud to stream. Even at one point pulling a Super Nintendo game of The Lion King, and I believe it's still wrapped up too, unopened, and he would say stuff like, I wonder if this has value, maybe I'll sell it. But then said he wouldn't sell it because the trolls would ruin it, dude. Well, it looks like what is old is new again, and DSP now wants $1,500 so you can watch him clean out his closet again.
Again, become a cluttered mess. Are you ready for this? So that's my closet currently. And as you can see, my vests are hanging. Look at the floor. My whole closet is like that. I'm not kidding. So here's what happened, all right? Basically, I changed my setup. And as I changed my setup, I was buying stuff. I was adding it, the boxes. You know, I have a whole bunch of stuff there for my backgrounds now that I'm kind of rotating around and alternating between. And it's a cluttered mess again. Like, no exaggeration, I could take a whole stream, clean this out, reorganize. I'd probably throw out a whole bunch of boxes, a whole bunch of extra shit I don't need anymore because some of it's from my old setup that I don't need anymore. So we could do a closet clean out for sure. We could do it. It would happen. It could work. But I don't know how entertaining that would be for you guys. We already did it once a few years ago. And definitely it needs it again. It's a huge cluttered mess. But that's up to you. All right. And Usagi Jojo says, well, why do you have all the vests if you don't wear them anymore? But there you go, because I haven't done anything with the closet. Those vests have been hanging in the closet for 2-3 years when I was wearing them and everything. And now, you're right, I don't use it anymore. So maybe I pack it up, right? Maybe I get a bin and I fill the bin with all the vests and the hats and we retire them for now. And that would give me a lot more space in the closet to work with. I'd have the whole top shelf to store stuff. I'd be able to stack stuff. You're right. So maybe that's part of the purpose of the closet clean out is we go through all the vests and the hats and we retire them, we store them, right? So we could do that at 50 goals as well. See, we have all these good ideas now, and this is good. That it's good to have a bunch of interesting ideas that people like, as opposed to having no idea what to do. That's what happened with the birthday marathon. We didn't know what to do. Now we have a ton of good ideas. So for me, I would say viewer's choice always works well. Okay, so I think viewer's choice is a great idea. The closet clean out could work. You know, there's a lot of ideas here. Let's talk about them, all right? Let's talk about all of them and try to flesh them out and see which one you guys want the most. Truth be told, we could do all of them. It's just a matter of time of hitting these milestones of 50 goals to do these marathons. But what order do we want to do, right? Yeah, how about that? That's an idea. Big Mac says, what about a final farewell vest stream? Well, what about this? How about we do a closet clean out stream, and every $100 that we raise on the stream, I put on a different vest or hat or both. I just keep swapping throughout the course of the stream as a send-off to those because we're not using them anymore, right? We're retiring them. So since it's like the retirement stream for the whole silly gimmicks of wearing stuff on stream, and we could do like a send-off stream. That could work. And then each time I wear the vest for the last time, I pack it up. We hit another $100 of support. I take the vest off, I put it inside the storage bin, and we put on the next one until we go through all the vests and all the hats and everything. Because we could do that every 50 bucks. It's a new hat. Every 100 bucks, it's a vest, you know, and we retire them all. I'm actually liking this idea more and more because it means I could get that shit out of the closet, put it in storage, but it has a final use, like a final send-off.
I just want you to take this in. Look at that closet. Look at the clutter. Look how jam-packed that is. That is a man who loves to spend money. And then we have two people who are communicating through Super Chat. Very dented. Gamer Chris. Hey DSP and everyone, hope you all have a good day. It's awesome coming on to your live stream. You're a cool and funny person, bro. And then we have Gamer Stevie J. Let's go, Chris. Wow, cool background, Phil. Next up, DSP is going to call the game Marathon woke. That is right. The guy that said South of Midnight was not woke, and if you say it's woke, you're racist. He's now going to call another game woke, and he gets pushback from his audience saying, you don't know what you're talking about. There's nothing that says it's woke. And DSP defends himself by saying he's been doing this longer than everyone else. He knows better than everyone. And his opinion is more important than everyone else's.
You run your mouth a lot for someone who's never developed a game before. Ever heard of the saying, don't judge a book by its cover? Instead of being so negative, why not wait for the game to come out first? So let me get this straight. Bungie just released a bunch of promotional gameplay trailers for people to digest to advertise their upcoming game later this year. By the way, it comes out in September. But I'm not supposed to watch and comment on what they offered to promote their game. I'm literally just supposed to kiss Bungie's butt and not be critical of what they put out to advertise their game. What? So, first of all, I'm a lifelong gamer, okay? I've bought a ton of Bungie products in the past, including almost every Halo game, both Destinies, right? I have a track record of 17 years as a gaming creator. Arguably, I've played more games than most people on the internet publicly, okay? I have a track record of being able to review games intelligently, but I'm not allowed to share my opinion. I should just shut up because it's Bungie. Do you have any idea how stupid you sound? What are you saying? They literally put this footage out to start public knowledge of their game so people will start a discourse. It doesn't matter if the discourse is good or bad. The point is there's a discourse about their game now. My opinion on what I just saw as negative, you think I should hold my tongue? That's what they chose to put out. I didn't make the game. I didn't choose for them to put the trailer out at 30 frames. I didn't choose for them to have a game with no textures or anything in the environment. It's plain, it's bland. I didn't hit the rainbow palette colors. They did. So I have a right to respond to what they put out. If they didn't put anything out and I'm just crapping on Bungie, that's different. I have a right to respond and criticize public materials meant to promote a game that's coming up. If you don't think so, you're really a really weirdo. Like, I don't even know what else to say. That was the whole point of them putting that out. You know, not everyone is going to kiss the game's butt. Maybe you should, realize that and understand that my opinions are my own, based on 17 years of being a YouTuber, on being a lifelong gamer, on having spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars on Bungie games in the past. I think I have a right to say what I want. Like, who are you to stifle me and put tape over my mouth that I can't criticize that? It's the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard. You're sitting on a platform, on YouTube or on Kick, that's public streaming, where people constantly give their opinions, and you're complaining that someone gave an opinion. You ever think that maybe you're in the wrong place?
It's always amazing when someone else has an opinion and DSP says they're wrong, they don't know what they're talking about. I'm a lifelong gamer, I know better than everyone else. And then when he has an opinion, you don't know what you're talking about. This is just my opinion, you should respect it. Like, get your head out of your ass, Phil. And he also demanded that games must now add to gaming culture. That is right. He demands they all be meaningful to him. Also, they must fit into his schedule when they're released. He believes he is the center of the Guildverse. And it seems like every single week, more and more of his streams are just him talking. 90 minutes now, still no gameplay. Then DSP decided to play Atomfall. Let's see how well that went for DSP.
How do I take this out? All right, you know what? Enough of this terrible fucking bullshit. Why is there a turret shooting me? How do I disable it now? I'm about to finish. My stream's over. And I gotta put up with this fucking nonsense? What a piece of shit. Just let me fucking complete the objective, you dunce level idiots who made this fucking game. You guys are morons. Guys, could someone please fucking tell me what to do? This game is awful. Yeah, I just want to wander around this site endlessly with no fucking clue what I'm supposed to be doing.
And DSP also complained about how long Atomfall is. And as you can see, 9.5 hours for the main story, 16 hours for main and side stories, and DSP I believe is already over the 9 hours and barely made a dent in the game. However, just like every stream recently, at the very end, one person comes in with a huge contribution that hits the goal. Funny how every single stream at the exact same time, it happens over and over. It's almost, Phil, like you're carried by one or two people. And remember, this whole system of hidden goals was supposed to take pressure off of a streak. We're not going to do streaks anymore because people felt too pressured when we were doing streaks. Well, guess what, guys? Streaks are back. As DSP puts this out, great progress in Atomfall today. I think we may beat the game when we play again later in the week. We're now at 7 straight streams hitting the goals. So I'll see you tonight at 7 PM for Disco Elysium. And let's do it again. DSP in the night chat, good evening all. Just finishing work on my marathon highlight. Let's get the show up and running. And that's what he's all about. He does all these woke commentary, all these over-the-top exaggerations, so he can make highlight clips to get views, to get money. He doesn't care about that. And this is the thumbnail for his podcast episode. Him looking like he just realized he shit himself. And this right here is what DSP was working on. It's uninspired crap, which is brown. DSP slams marathon. Absolutely disgusting thumbnail right here. Then look at that face. That is a face of a man that loves his life, loves his job, loves his family. And then you can tell already he's using a guide. People are sending him stuff because he said, people contacted me. Imagine using guides in every single game you play. No wonder of discovery. Also at the same time, this is the same guy who used a strategy guide for Mario games and Sonic games, just saying. Then DSP's stream was off to a bad start, as he puts this in the chat, was getting some errors so I restarted the PC, about to try again. Then says, I can't remember the last time I restarted my PC. If you recall, last week, he said, after I leave this room, I turn off all my PCs. But now, a week later, he says he can't remember the last time he turns off his PCs. Think about that. Okay, so let's see how Disco Elysium went for DSP.
Right, so nothing? No contributions to shout out. We're just going to start with the game. Wow. All right. So be it. So be it. But let's not let the streak die tonight after 7 straight streams of hitting these goals. Let's keep that rolling. All right? All right. Let's get set up here. And we have only 27 bucks to support. Now, guys, listen up. We just had 7 straight streams of hitting the goal. That is great. It's been a great week, right? Sucks because last week we would have had a whole week except that South of Midnight and Pirate Yakuza saw a stutter. Let's keep that momentum going. Tonight, please support the stream. Even if you don't like the game, support the stream because you support me and my content. Keep that momentum rolling, right? We want to do a nice DSP tries it this week, do we not? And we could do it on Tuesday or Wednesday if we keep the momentum rolling. So let's hit the goal tonight, all right? Let's do it. Come on. Who's going to do a nice, generous tip? How about a super chat? Right now we have 1 super chat. We have 1 or 2 small tips. And we have 3 subs on Kick. Let's pick that up, all right? Let's do it. Okay. Exactly. Look at that. Look at that emo of the guy flapping money all over the place. Exactly right. That's correct. Okay. So let's continue. We have another hour to go. Please, guys, let's get some momentum going. Let's get some reinvigoration on the stream tonight. Come on. Keep the streak. I really want to keep the streak alive tonight. Let me keep clapping into the mic until someone responds. Do I have to keep doing this? Is this obnoxious or not? Ow, I actually hurt my own ear. I hurt my own ear clapping so loudly. All right, I'm not going to do that again. Oh. Okay. I don't think we want to point the gun at the kid. That's probably a problem. Say, shut up.
Or what? You gonna fuck me? Or what? Or what? Or what? Or what? Or what? Or what? You gonna fuck me? You wanna fuck me, pig? Is that what this is about?
Whoa. So I was focusing on that part because I wanted to finish that conversation and end that part before I looked. I received a $121 anonymous tip. I'm really enjoying your stream. I hope that you will continue with this game. Good Lord. Every time I play this game, someone comes in with a giant contribution. It just happened. So thank you for it. All right, so last week, as you guys know, it was my birthday. Because of that, I got ridiculous levels of support. And I'm so grateful for that. Thank you guys. You helped me out tremendously with that. You have. Really, seriously, awesome, awesome, awesome. Had a great birthday marathon, had tons of support over the week. In fact, if you are not aware, I've hit, I want to say, 7 straight streams, I believe. Let me think about this. It was Friday. It's been 7. It was 7 straight streams. 7 straight streams where we're hitting goals. Thank you for that very, very much. That helps a ton. That keeps me going, allows me to get whatever I need for my setup, drop or buy any game, do anything we need to do. It is very, very much appreciated. Okay? So 2 thumbs up and thank you so much for this ongoing support. You guys are awesome.
Another highlight from the stream was when DSP thought Taiwan and Thailand are the same place. And yet again, one person donates majority of the goal. And the game is awesome again, dudes, and he'll continue to play it, even though he had under 150 people watching him, YouTube and Kick combined. However, other games have the same thing going on, but he drops them. Funny how that works out, almost like he has a whale lined up for every single Disco Elysium stream. Funny how that works out. And he also wants to talk about it tomorrow on the podcast. And he was also begging people to get other people to watch him because he said he had low viewership and he wants more people watching him. So DSP, as the owner of DSP Gaming, is not making an initiative to go out, expand, attract more people. No. He wants his cult members to go out, recruit people, and bring them into the cult. Definitely not a cult, right, Phil? And now we talk about Monday. We start off today with a throwback tweet where DSP compared himself to OJ Simpson. I'm not even joking about that, as he put this tweet out on 3/20/16, watching the People versus OJ Simpson, and damn, everyone in this case was dragged through the dirt, just like I've been. Crazy parallels here. Phil, I'm just gonna say this right here. Comparing yourself to OJ Simpson is probably not the comparison you want to make. And DSP starts off the pre-stream with an entire segment about how people need to give him more money, but then starts talking about his passion for games. And before, DSP would only count tips towards the goal. Then it was super chats, then memberships, then kick memberships, and so on and so forth. So now that everything is combined in the stream total, well now DSP is so desperate to hit the goal, he's now counting troll tips. And as a side note, do not troll tip him. It is more funny when you see the salt come out when he does not get money. And DSP yet again, trying to get OIC to open up the wallets by showing his feet. And DSP is tired of people saying he's supported by whales. And what does he do? He talks about yesterday and how the entire stream was funded by one person. And he's still pushing for people, give him money. He says, let's hit the goal right now. No donations come in for 2 minutes. Guys, let's get to $50 by end of the podcast, please. That is right. He wants more money, and he wants it faster. Stop withholding the money, dudes. Remember, instant gratification. And then Phil went on this huge rant about, you don't know how much money I make. I could be making more, I could be making less. I could be faking every single tip that I get. You wouldn't even know. And it's none of your business. So Phil, you're saying there's a possibility that all those anonymous tips that come at the end of the stream could be fake. You could be making it up. Good to know, Phil. Remember guys, he cannot give the detractors a win, dude. And this is a tactic that a lot of narcissists use, is they'll put up what they actually think, what they actually want, and they'll follow it up with, I'm not asking for much, don't overspend. And in DSP's case, he'll say, guys, I would really like this money, especially this much at this time in this stream, but I'm not asking you to do it. It's like a hint hint, nudge nudge. Then DSP was messing around with his mic, and he said, how does this mic sound, everyone? You better be truthful or you'll get the boot. That is right. Truthful in DSP's mind is, tell me what I want to hear, otherwise you're gonna get banned. Then yet again, another rant about RPG overload despite him playing multiple RPGs right now. And he says to this day that Baldur's Gate 3 hurt his channel and it almost ruined him and he almost went out of business because of this game, even though every single stream got 100+ tips. Then DSP compared himself to a street performer and says a street performer gives their craft away for free, and if you like them, you give them money. Then we have Piece of Peace, a totally normal conversation of a video game streamer with his viewers.
So I hope that it's okay that I'm only playing it once a week. In addition to that, it may actually be the actual reason why it gets the support it does. Because think of it this way. If only 1 or 2 people are actually supporting Disco Elysium, do you think they would be able to afford that if I played it 2-3 times a week? I mean, that's, I'm trying to raise $150 a stream. Do you really think that they probably have $450 to dish out every week? Or if I play it once a week and they only have to support 1 stream, doesn't that make it a lot easier on them, right? So there you have it. I think that maybe going ahead and playing it once a week has been working, but we just have to understand that this game is not going to be played very often. It's going to take me a very long time to beat it. For example, I've done 5 streams of it within about a month, okay? And we're a third in. That means I would continue to play it throughout April, May, and likely into June before we get to beat it. And you have to be okay with that. And I hope that you are. All right. And the other thing is, if, for example, all of a sudden it just stops getting support, can I have a stream where it's going to have nothing, no one's showing up and no one's going to support it? This is a business as well as a hobby. Yes, I'm a lifetime gamer, lifelong gamer, and I love sharing my passion for games with the internet. I surely do. But it's also the way that I make a living and support my family. It's pretty dumb if I'm going to be playing a game on stream and dedicating time to entire streams that no one is showing up for, watching, or supporting. I could just play the game offline in my own time then, correct? So that's why I have to make these smart decisions. And I hope you understand that. Some people don't and actually say really dumb things like, oh, so it's not about his passion for games anymore. Do you open a restaurant?
And now you can see the greed coming out as he declares he cannot afford to have a day of not hitting $150. That is right, dense get that Velcro wallet open. He demands more money every single day. And DSP yet again attacking the Japanese because of the Switch 2. And of course, everything he says about Japan is a projection of himself.
Oh yeah, so that's another interesting point that no one really has talked about too much. So they are offering, if you didn't know, in Japan only, they are offering a Japanese-only Switch 2, meaning it doesn't work in English. It only runs on Japanese, but it's a significant discount compared to the version of Switch 2 that will have the English. So if you're in Japan and you speak Japanese, you can get the console for a big discount. Everyone else worldwide has to pay more money, a premium, to have the version that has your language in it. But if you're Japanese, you get a big savings. And I was just talking about this the other day. There's a good reason for it. The Japanese think that they are number one, and all others are number 2 or lower. It's known. It's in their culture. So to them, hey, we're the makers of it. We're manufacturing this thing. We don't need English, so therefore, we'll make it cheaper for us. If anyone else wants it, great. That's fine, but you're going to pay more because we're Japanese and we say so. That's how they operate over there. I find it shocking because people just don't get this. They don't get that this is how the world is, that not everyone in the world is the same as you. Cultures are different all around the world. There's places in this planet that's, as crazy as this sounds, they make women dress from head to toe in clothing and cover their entire bodies. They can't, how dare you be seen? A piece of your body be seen in public. That's completely against our culture. To us, be like, what? In America, you're lucky if you have a woman walking outside with anything covering her nipples and her cooch. But in other cultures, it's like, you know, the antithesis of that. Like, but the world is different. Outside of where you live in this little isolated, you know, bubble chamber that you live in, and you think that everything, tunnel vision is like how you like it. It's not. The Japanese are very different. They think differently than us here in the United States, you know? So to them, they're like, haha, fuck you. We get the best of everything. We're going to get the better version. It's cheaper. We don't care that you want it cheaper. We don't give a fuck about you. We get the best. You get the leftovers.
And despite DSP always bringing up his finances when he needs money, he's now going to say, my finances are none of your business. And get ready for an insane rant from Phil.
Let's see here. The Goat did a $2 super chat. Why do you make your wife work and cook when you make $140,000? First of all, you have absolutely, positively no idea how much money I make. You don't. You're an idiot. Because all the morons who try to, oh, he makes this, he makes that, he makes this. You have no clue because you actually can't quantify what I make. You don't know what % of anything that I get on a stream I actually keep and how much goes to taxes or whatever. You have no idea what's real or not, right? I said this before. You literally have no idea if I've ever received a tip. They could all be real. They could all be fake. Some could be real. Some could be fake. And the truth is, it's none of your business. Get it? It's my business, not yours. So all these morons out there who try to figure this shit out, oh, Phil made this, Phil made that, Phil made that. You don't know what I make. I could be making 3 times that, and I could be making 1/3 of that, and it's none of your business. Okay? Now, why does my wife work? Well, because she wants to. She doesn't want to sit around the house all goddamn day. Okay? Because by having her work, it alleviates the financial responsibilities around here. Instead of it all being on my shoulders, it's a second income that goes towards very important things. Okay? Our finances are set up in a certain way on purpose. So basically, allow me to explain in the best way possible. Okay? Let me see if I can phrase this in a way that makes sense. Fuck off. Go fuck yourself. Mind your own business. What my wife and I do is our business, not yours. And you don't know better than us, so kiss my ass.
And then we got this super chat from Big Boss. Instead of storing the vests and hats, every 1K made during Marathon stream randomly give away signed vests and hats. Would be cool. And of course, if you know DSP, he's not giving anything away except for those empty game boxes back in the day. And this is his response.
Let's see here. Big Boss did a $4.99 super chat, so that will be our biggest one. Let's get that on the leaderboard. Excuse me. Okay, and Big Boss now says, instead of storing vests and hats, every $1,000 made during a marathon, randomly give away a signed vest and hat. It would be cool. I keep telling you guys this, but people don't listen. There's no viable way to mail this shit all around the world. Don't you know that? Like, I've explained this before. Like, when I first started doing my seasonal giveaways, which I used to do in the fourth quarter of every year. I called it the Hardcore Gaming Season Giveaway. I would give away games, collectibles, autographed merch, and other various things. One time I even gave away a PlayStation 4 at its launch, okay? But I used to do this regularly, every fourth quarter of the year, like clockwork. And, well, here's what ended up happening is I realized I don't just have a domestic viewer base. The people who watch me aren't just in the United States. You guys are in Canada. You guys are in the UK. You guys are in various parts of Europe spread out, but you're also in Asia, right? I even have some viewers in like South America, okay? And what would happen is people would enter these contests to win stuff, and they would, and then I would go to mail it. And it would be like, first of all, almost impossible to mail it properly, because trying to mail stuff internationally is very different than mailing it domestically. You don't know how to put the address on the package. It's very complicated. But in addition, I'll give you a perfect example here. Sometimes I'd be mailing, say, a game. Now the game's worth $20. So I sign the box. Here we go. I go to mail it, and they'd be like, oh, you're mailing that to, Brazil? Okay, that's $70. What? Yeah, it's $70. And by the way, this was over a decade ago. So you can imagine shipping costs probably have exponentially increased in the last decade. Okay? So, sadly, the idea of physical giveaways isn't as easy as you think. Okay? The people who typically do physical giveaways are people who are very big and have people they can hire to do it for them. And they can, take care of all that stressful nonsense of the logistics and paying for it and making sure that it tracks and gets there. I can't do that. It's just too annoying, too expensive, all right? That's one of the major reasons why I completely stopped doing actual giveaways. At one point, I was selling Project 7 t-shirts. Again, this was over a decade ago. I was selling the shirt for a $20 patron pledge, and then I would mail it, and it would cost me $40 to get it to you, so I lost $20 on the deal. I was losing money doing it. So basically, I stopped doing physical stuff a long time ago for good reason. All right? I have no plans on doing any physical mailings or giveaways. It's just not worth it. Okay? My content is right here. This is it. If you want me to do something digitally, make you some content, that's one thing. You want to see me do something on stream, do a taste test, do a special marathon, play a game, that's the content I make. I don't do physical giveaways for a reason. There's also a reason with merch. That's why I have a third-party company that makes my merch and ships it to you, because I don't have the time and logistics to handle it like they do. Get it? So there you go. I hope that makes sense. Okay.
And then on the night stream, DSP played yet again Pirate Yakuza, some of his worst gameplay, and I use word gameplay very loosely, that he's ever done. And of course, he has to beg before he goes into this that he's done 9 straight streams of hitting the goal, and he wants to keep it going. That is right, a beg tweet. And we have this from Henley Parks. Begging is not a business, Philip. And of course, DSP keeps flip-flopping on this, saying that I'm not an e-beggar. Well, I am an e-beggar, but it's because of the trolls. They ruined my business, dude. To the, oh, it's just business, everyone does it. To, I'm not an e-beggar, dude. And this is his response on this day.
There was a troll super chat. Thanks, stupid. It's just hilarious. Just listen to this. Begging is not a business. Okay. My model is that I give you content for free. You enjoy the content, and then you support it. Me sitting here and saying, hey, I have some goals for support, let's hit them. and then giving you positive reinforcement for it, such as, hey, if we hit the goal, we'll have a celebration. When we hit a certain amount of goals, we do a big reward. That's not begging, you imbecile. Begging is when you sit on the street with nothing to offer society and you shake a cup and you say, alms for the poor. I'm not a poor. Okay? I'm not. I make a good living because I provide content people like, and then when they like it, they reciprocate. If you think that's begging, you're just dead wrong because you're a jealous imbecile who wishes that they could have everything that I have and you don't, and you're just so jealous about it, you can't come to grips with reality that I have a business that has been successful now since 2011. That's right. I've been doing this for a living for 14 years, and I'm going to do it for as long as I want, as successfully and to the level that I want, doing the content that I want, and there's nothing you can do about it. Get it? That's it. Your jealousy, your incredible jealousy, is embarrassing to humanity. So please shut up. But thanks for the super chat. I appreciate that you are supporting the content, even though I didn't even ask for anything. There you go. There was no begging required. You just forthcoming with the support. So thanks.
And also, DSP did this thumbnail for Disco Elysium Part 10. Starting over day 2 with a game over, and he titles it, My First Game Over? What the heck? Part 10, Disco Elysium, PT, PC. And he was begging like crazy tonight. He wants that Popeyes. Give him some Popeyes, dude. He needs it. Otherwise, he's gonna have to eat his wife's cooking, dude. And look at this shirt. Absolutely disgusting. You know who picked this out? That fat bitch cat. And look at that. Look at that face. It's a face of a man who loves his job, loves his wife, and loves his life. And we have Offshore Bus. Suffer, Phil. Suffer. Okay, so let's see how Phil did tonight on Pirate Yakuza.
I'll have you know, I was walking through my neighborhood today and my neighbors complimented me on the shirt. They saw me wearing it. They're like, wow, well, 'tis the season. Today's a warm day. It's time for that kind of clothing. I said, absolutely, and that's why I'm wearing it. And I walked right up the street and they were watching me. They were like, I swear that's actually did happen too. Now, guys, if you can believe it, listen to this. We have had 9 straight streams where I have hit my goals. 9. It all started back on Wednesday of last week. If you remember, on Tuesday, we had the double new release. Well, we had the new release of South of Midnight, and I paired that with, guess what? This game, Pirate Yakuza. Last Tuesday, I didn't hit any goals at all. We didn't hit it for South of Midnight, and we didn't hit it for this game. But then, as of Wednesday of last week, we hit goal after 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 goal. Probably the finale of the game, so let's get the hell down there and let's get this started. Holy crap, they really knew how to draw out this game. They really had a lot of cutscenes and a lot of stuff going on and a lot of blah 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 blah. All right. Okay. Let's see. So I have received absolutely nothing. Nothing. That's way too close of a camera angle right there. Holy crap. So I got nothing, but it's fine. We got another hour. Let's make progress. Please support the stream. We have one more hour. Please, let's get something. We had no support in the last hour because the game was so boring with those cutscenes. Now, let's get to the end game and let's have some fun. Let's do it. Why do you play these games if you don't like sitting around for the cutscenes? Because overall, the games are great. Overall, I really do enjoy these games. They have great narrative. They have cultural relevance to Japan that actually has allowed me to learn about the country and its culture as a whole. I like the combat. The action-based combat of this game has been quite fun, right? Some of the mini-games have been quite entertaining and fun. And when we're not in the middle of a cutscene, it's very fun to chill with you guys and talk and hang out and have a good time together. But when we get stuck in a cutscene that's 30 minutes long, yeah, it can kind of drag on and be kind of boring, I'm not going to lie, you know? But what would you like me to do? Like, just kiss the game's ass constantly, or do you want me to be honest about it? I think what it is so many people in the modern era who make content just kiss games' butts non-stop. You're just not used to someone being honest. You don't want me to be like, there's parts of the game that's good and parts of the game that's bad. You just want to hear me to say, oh, Rio, go, Toku, or whatever your name is. Oh, I love your games. And just keep kissing their butts. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be honest. You know, that way people know what's good and what's bad about a game I play. I don't have any incentive to say the game is great or to say the game sucks. I'm going to be honest, as I've always have been for the 17 years I've been a creator. So I guess the real question I have for you is, if you have an issue with my playthroughs, why are you here watching? I've been doing this for 17 years. I think I know what I'm doing.
Welcome back, Captain.
Interactive content with you. We have to finish the game. But I do need to have support. So please support the stream tonight. All right? Super chats, memberships on the YouTube side. Please, let's get some subs on the Kick side. We have nothing on the Kick side at all tonight, or some tips, which either side can do. I'll be right back.
Yeah, screw your money, I told him. I only took the meeting to buy myself time. Was gonna hoof it after that. Get out before Jason and everybody else saw the video. If you all hadn't found me just now, I probably never would have seen any of you again.
Masaru, you... Good for us. And now we got the whole story out in the open. Lives. Could have saved... I've spent 7 years leashed to that damn island. Why didn't you try to warn him?
Because of those 5 days, Jason would know I had hesitated. The treasure hunter who showed me the ropes, who treated me like a brother, and I had to think about it? So what if I was too afraid to do it? I was also too afraid to say how close I'd come.
About us. We got our own way of doing things. We're the
You're
ones
just gonna
putting
let
our
him.
lives on the line here. Letting you collect on our sweat when all you done is sit in your chair? That sure don't feel right to me.
This is a centuries-old cache worth $1 billion. Who else do you think can fence all that?
I can think of a few people, if I'm being honest. Queen, for one.
Ignore the warning signs and let him back on the ship. We put all we've worked for in danger. We've got to do what's best for the crew of the Goromaru here.
Look, we ain't gonna set nothing straight just speculating. Someone's gotta talk to Masaru himself. Question is, if he really has cut some...
All right, everybody. Good stuff. Well, good stream. Here's my one concern, right? Like, I am totally down to beat this on Wednesday night. Because, again, I have it scheduled as a Wednesday night stream to wrap it up. But the problem with that is, as you guys have seen, this has been very, very rough for getting support. And I'm incredibly grateful, obviously, to Drew earlier, who did all of those super chats to get to the goal. But I don't know what's going to happen on a stream that's just the finale in 2 nights. That's only like an hour. You know what I mean? It may be like, hey, let's beat it in an hour and then do an hour of chill Q&A, and hopefully some people will come in for that and support. I don't know. To be honest, I'm just not sure, how it's going to do. It would suck if all week we have a streak of support and all of a sudden it ends with the conclusion of Yakuza. I guess we'll have to see, okay? But, guys, I got to...
You're never gonna believe this, guys. A brand new person who has never spoke before became a member on this night, and not only that, at the very last second, $124 to hit the goal. Remember, DSP always said he could be faking everything. You don't know when he's telling the truth and when he's lying. And this is the message that Drew put in the chat for the super chat. Hitting goals, Felton trolls, pickles are on me. Of course, that's the Popeye's pickle meal. Wish I could do this more often, but I'll always support when I can. Remember, Definitely not a cult. Now the funny thing here that Banana Jones caught is Drew has his own YouTube channel and he forgot to log out of his account and then decided to make a comment on his own video pretending to be a different person and said, "You need a better camera, bro. It's all socks at this point. That's all Phil has is socks." And then we have this from Cashman. You're definitely on the spectrum. And now, Tuesday. But before we get to that, I want to give a special shout out to Lord Diaz, or F Lord Diaz as he's called. Not only is he a YouTube partner now, he now has memberships unlocked on his channels, and all I can say is, let's get some subs. And today, on the 15th, it is tax day in the United States, which means DSP is gonna be begging like crazy today. Then again, he probably didn't even pay his taxes. Again. Then we have some band kick names from the day before, including Piss Pants Trucker Gone, Which Vest is Retirement Best, PWR World, The True King Real, Fat Cat from Disney, Keto Casino Rocks, DSP Sucks, I'd Still Do Cat and Pooper, which is absolutely disgusting, Full Time Crybaby 220 Real, PP Dave, Snorsax 220 Real, PWR's BK Money Gone, Cat a Big Fat Arby's Coochie Ew, Scared of Confrontation Real, and Pathological Liar 220 Real. And then DSP put this out before his stream. I have a predominantly male audience and people have been asking me for something different from fast food reviews when I hit gold milestones. I have an idea, and it's weird, but some of the most odd stuff does seem to work these days. I'll present it on the podcast in the morning. And then he put this in the chat before the pre-stream. Good podcasting coming today. We've got Switch 2 news, Oblivion remake, and my new idea for reward milestones in the form of a new kind of show. Maybe. You'll see. Then every single thing that DSP does has been stolen from somebody else. Even his DSP Tries It, which he admits he stole from The Tonight Show when Conan O'Brien was hosting it, because there was a segment called Andy'll Try It, and DSP decided he'll just rip it off and do DSP Tries It. Andy'll try it! Andy'll try it! And then we got to the big reveal, the brand new reward, and it is reviewing cologne. That is right. That's where we're at right now. Reviewing cologne. And not only that, he's not buying cologne. He says he's going to take the cologne that's already around his house and review it. So now you have to pay him $1,500 for him to review stuff that he's already has in his house. And I was also thinking about this too. Remember, back at Christmas time, he was talking about what his wife got him for Christmas, and one of the things was cologne. That is right, guys. DSP is monetizing his wife's Christmas presents to him now, to his dents. So let me get this straight here. Kat's birthday doesn't get a shout out, wedding anniversary doesn't get a shout out and doesn't get to celebrate on the exact same day, but DSP's birthday has a marathon and his presents from his wife get monetized. Husband of the year right there. Then we have Dick Stroke and Phil Vlogs, who gives a preview of DSP Smells It. Wow, it smells tangy with a hint of robust sandalwood. Very full of smell. And DSP goes on to say, male scents have wide variety. However, women's scents are pretty much the same. You can tell when someone's never been around women. Then we have H-Bomb. DSP sprays it, reviewing cologne as a reward for $750 or $1,500. And DSP has announced that his channel, he believes, has hit the correct level of enjoyment, aka money. But it wasn't all good news for DSP, as his audience, even his regulars, his dolphins, his whales, they hated the idea of DSP Smells It. And they were lashing out saying, this sucks, this is so stupid, do something else please. And DSP spent an hour just crashing out. And it was so funny because he was crashing out because people were telling him he was crashing out, which is the most DSP thing ever. And then he tries to explain it by saying people were bored with the fast food. And as Potion points out, he does it every week, so it's not special. That is right. The more you do something, the less special it is. It's not a big concept there, Phil. And then he also said, I'm trying to figure out and find things that are safe for my family and my setup. Basically what he's saying is he can't show his house, the items in it, unless he picks it out, aka the clone. Then someone suggested instead of DSP smells it, why don't you do giveaways? And he said, well, it doesn't make sense if one person can enjoy a giveaway and nobody else can. But if he does DSP tries it, everyone enjoys it because they see Phil do it. And they know exactly what the product's about. And then goes on a huge rant about how creators and YouTube channels that do giveaways and give back to the fans are exploitive. That is right, he said people are being exploited when they do giveaways to their audiences. Of course, the reality of this is Phil doesn't want to spend money on anyone else other than himself. And he expects everyone else to give him money too, because he's a lying scumbag. So not only is DSP going to get the Popeye's pickle menu, he's also going to get a shrimp box for variety. And you know what activates gout? Seafood and alcohol. What a shame, what a shame. I wonder why you took an extra day off this week. And then we have Silent Weapons. Phil should try Ode to Broken Toilet by Yves Snort Laurent, or Panay Le Pew by Ethan Ralph Lauren. And now people are going to push back about DSP being an alcoholic and how it's okay to drink on stream. However, edibles in his mind are not okay. And it's the most DSP response you're ever going to hear.
Someone tipped $1 and says edibles and weed. Okay, I want you to understand something. All right, I do. I feel like I need to speak up about something, okay? You understand that recreational drugs are still drugs. You get that, right? It's still a drug. Now, it might be a safe drug in certain extents or whatever. It's still a drug, okay? There's a difference between saying, hey, try a piece of food versus, hey, actually put drugs into your 43-year-old body, all right? At the age that I'm at, my middle age, I have to do things that aren't harmful to my body. Why do you think I've completely changed my lifestyle, my diet? How do you think I lost all this weight? By doing harmful things to my body? No. Okay? Absolutely not. Sitting around eating edibles, taking THC is the worst thing I could do for myself right now at this stage in my life. I also have absolutely no desire to get myself into some kind of a controlled substance like that, all right? That now it could become addictive. It could become something that's detrimental to my life. And quite frankly, I don't appreciate you trying to pressure me into it. I'm not saying that that's what you meant by it, but so many people take it as like something as a joke or casual. It's not. You do understand that when you get into shit like that, you could actually be changing your entire life, right?
And I want you to replace the word edibles with alcohol, and it describes DSP to a T. Because remember, alcohol is a drug as well, Phil. And it definitely changed your life. And then he went on to say about drinking at 43, I've been drinking a long time. And that was his excuse for doing it. And look at that, from TJ Gamebox, they know. And we see a picture from WWE Champions, the King's Tariffs. And then we see IRS in there, they know. They know. Then we have Gout, who points something out. DSP has post-nasal drip, so how is he gonna smell things as a review if his post-nasal is acting up? And then look at that, the cuck is back, Mr. Papavera, $5 super chat. Did someone mention Minecraft? If only you Minecraft in real life. Then we have this from Gamer Heaven. DSP Gaming, I'm very proud of you, Phil. Going from your old King of Hate days to present day. I've been with you since the very beginning. I'm very glad that I'm still here with you today. Then we see his channel, which was created March 2nd, 2025. Like I said, Phil, all you have right now is socks. Just socks. And then he started up the game, Blueprints, puzzle game. And he was frustrated, because money wasn't coming in, and he had to keep checking his email. So he's playing the game, while at the same time checking his email. And he says, it's frustrating keeping an eye on mail to see if tips come in, because he keeps getting spam emails. And then the money's still not coming in at 12 p.m. Just letting you know, we have to hit the goal by 3, or I won't have time to order the food. 3 o'clock. We have to hit the goal in the next 30 minutes, or I can't order the food. And that's how he strings along to Dents. No matter what, he's gonna make this order. You're gonna pay for it, and you're gonna like it, dudes. Then someone suggested, why don't you just order the food? Why do you have to hit the goal? And he said, I have to hit the goal in order to order the food, because I'm making content, dude. Then would you look at that, out of nowhere, Jarhammer, you know, the longtime fan, Jarhammer, that's never spoke ever in chat, gave DSP $100+. How organic. Then this was probably an auto resub. Dr. Lexus resubbed to DSP on Kick. And look at that. Piggy got his food, and King Bill Purnell devour. Snort Hogan, bro, look at that little skinny arm laughing my ass off, and look at that. Look at that arm right there. He's got all that fat in there, in those big milkers. And look at those little skinny arms. Oh, and trust me, it gets worse from here. Then look at these faces. Looks like he just shit himself. And this is the thumbnail. Popeye's pickle menu with 3 fills, all confused. And it appears PWR is declaring he will never ever give DSP another dime.
Oh, actually, I want to make something freaking clear right here. I did see a thing on X when I was looking at the messages. It just caught my eye. So I'm gonna get this on the air. Somebody is going to spread this rumor, or just, I don't know if it's a conspiracy or whatever. But people, I think I mentioned this actually. People are saying that I'm gonna take this money and give it to DSP. So that is not happening. And if that rumor's out there, then you can go screw yourself. That is just not reality. Trust me. And I want to make that damn clear. That's crazy. Could you imagine if I was just doing this and then they turned around and it was like, oh, here, Phil, like, that would be insane. That would be like the worst decision of my life. That's ridiculous. People are going to come up with what they come up with, but I was just like, man, that's insane. It just happened to catch my eye, like, in the thing. That's why I was looking at the phone. I was like, oh my God.
And this is quite weird. It looks like, in California, Mr. Primavera is a cuddle buddy. If you don't know what that is, this is the same thing that Becky Boop was doing, where people would pay her to quote-unquote cuddle. This is very sad if Mr. Primavera is actually selling his body to give money to Phil. That's next level dent. And then look at that leg. Look at all that lack of muscle, lack of everything, that skinny little leg. But look at these big milkers right up here. God damn, those are some big milkers and big gut right here. But skinny arms, skinny legs. He's Mr. Potato Head. Then of course, Broside Phil had to do this and make it worse. He put it in motion. And look at that. Absolutely disgusting. Then look at all the items that DSP ordered from Popeyes. So all these items are just for him. He didn't order anything for his wife. But remember dudes, he's eating healthy. And then he said right after, I'm gonna see if my wife wants some of my leftovers. Like I said, husband of the year right there. Doesn't celebrate her birthday, because remember that's when the chicken sandwich fiasco happened. Doesn't celebrate Valentine's Day. Doesn't celebrate the anniversary of their wedding. And then he orders food and gives her whatever his leftovers are. Husband of the year right there. Then despite the new gold rewards being less pressured than a streak reward, he is now pushing that the streak will end tonight if you don't give him money. He's back to scaring them to give money. Definitely not a cult. And look at that face. That is a face of a man who loves his life, loves his wife, loves his job. And then on this day, it was revealed that Kick has added channel points and DSP stopped the whole stream just so he could check it out. Fuck your gameplay. He wants channel points, dude. And look at that. Look how well DSP's doing in Call of Duty. 0.73 elimination death ratio. Amazing, Phil. Amazing. And yet again, he's still lashing out at people that did not like his idea for Cologne. And he's refusing to let go of it because his ego won't allow him.
Please support the stream if you can. All right? Some gifted subs would be very nice. How about a super chat or a tip? Our goal is $150. We're around 20 something right now. What are we at right now? 28? We have hit 11 straight streams of hitting the goals. Let's keep that going. Let's hit 12 tonight. Let's keep the momentum going. All right? Let's do it. Keep in mind, we got some good stuff coming, like a marathon at 50 goals hit. We already talked about the possibility of either the return of viewer's choice or a special vest and hat retirement ceremony. It's going to be interesting what we figure out we want to do. Someone tipped $3 says, I was watching your podcast video on demand. I laughed hysterically at how people are trying to say that you possibly doing, you know, some testing of colognes and stuff as an idea for the future is bad, yet then they want you to install Linux or take weed on a stream. I know. The thing, it's just insanity. The things these people say, it's like I say, they're LARPers.
And then the stream ended. He was at $95. However, as the slideshow was happening, Lance Catamaran, definitely not OIC, gifted 11 subs, which means technically he made the goal. And DSP was so happy with this. But you know what's going to happen. He's going to say, guys, you shouldn't wait till the last minute. Just give me the money right away, dudes. And then on the daily wrap, it was a huge rant about anyone that says they don't want the clone review. They are LARPers, they are trolls, they are detractors. Only the real fans want this. That is right, he's going to push this until people accept this. There's no way this could backfire, Phil. And that brings us to Wednesday. And DSP puts this out on Twitter. Today's first stream is live. We have some big upgrades to talk about on Kick. Channel points are live. So let's talk about them and brainstorm some ideas. Then it's the end game of Atomfall and 12 straight streams of hitting goals. So let's keep it up. Beg tweets are definitely back. And look at this shirt. Absolutely disgusting. But if you notice something last few days, he's worn shirts with birds on it. And he said his wife picked out the shirts. Could his wife be a low-key troll? A detractor? Troll and Phil? That would be hilarious. And then the topic of goal rewards came up yet again. DSP still pushing the clone review idea, and people suggested IRL vlogging. And DSP said he can't show things in his house because people will data mine them. And would you look at that? Another person that has never talked in chat before, never said anything, never appeared, all of a sudden becomes a member and starts gifting memberships on Kick. Amazing how that happens every single stream. And DSP says he won't do anything different from Legos and food reviews because they're working. Yet people always say, please do something else. Money is drying up. But of course, DSP always has to be right in every scenario. And as soon as he said that, he started going to fast food websites to see what he could order after people give him money. And then people kept pushing back, we don't want any more food ideas, do something different. And he was yelling at them, well, if you want something different, you have to tell me what's going to give me money. That is right, it's the responsibility of the audience to work for DSP for free, tell them what to do, and give them money at the same time. Then DSP said Wendy's Frosties used to have ice crystals in them and be dense and taste like malt. So dense, you couldn't even put your spoon in them. Then he kept saying people stalking him in real life, and that he's not going to tell people where he's going, so he can't go to the zoo or other places. Get fuck cat. And as Pullman Pass points out, everyone knows where you live. They know what car you drive. They know when you're out of your house, because you only leave the house once a week. If someone wanted to stalk you all day, they would. If someone wanted to do something to you, they would just do it. Then make this make sense. So Phil says a chicken sandwich from Wendy's with different toppings isn't different. However, the Big Mac from the Minecraft meal, which is exactly the same, is different and is good for DSP tries it. And then people were suggesting Olive Garden as a joke. Because DSP says he's Italian, dude. So you can't have Olive Garden, dude. It'll kill him. Then he kept saying that only LARPers want something different from the food reviews. The true fans love the food reviews and they show it. However, he needs his true audience to tell him what to do besides food because they're getting tired of food reviews. Make that make sense. Then this is the absolute most disgusting thing that DSP has said about his parents. So he said his parents are dying. They're in bad health. He doesn't know how many years they have left. So people were saying, why don't you go out at least one more time, spend time with them, especially if they're in bad health. And DSP's response is that, well, I don't want to go back to Connecticut. There's nothing to do. There's a restaurant and zoo, but there's nothing else. How about this, Phil? This is a crazy idea. If you have parents that have bad health, that are dying, you go to Connecticut. And get this is a crazy idea here, Phil. You spend time with them. You do stuff with them. You make memories with them. It doesn't have to be about your personal enjoyment of oh, there's nothing to do outside of my parents. Just go see your parents, you scumbag. There's some people who have lost parents and wish they had an opportunity, one more moment, to say hi to them, to hug them, just to be in their presence. And you take it for granted, because you can go anytime, you make $140,000 a year. But of course, the Hulk Hogan dick pics are more important to you.
It's sad when your parents get older and they're just not like they used to. Like, no exaggeration, it sucks. I haven't seen my parents since 2019. The idea was, I moved out here in 2014, and my parents were going to visit once a year, or maybe once every other year, okay? That was the whole point. Because I told them outright, I said, I want you guys to understand something. I don't want to go back to Connecticut. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing really there. There's a zoo, and there's Italian food, and that's it. Like, if they come here, there's stuff to do. Right? When you come to Seattle, there's all kinds of fun things. There's restaurants. There's all kinds of tourism. There's things to do here. For me to visit them in Connecticut, there's fucking nothing going on. It's boring, okay? And it's expensive, too. So that was the idea, is that they were going to come visit me maybe every year, every other year. You know what I'm saying? And then what ended up happening was, basically, they visited that first year for Christmas. And then they visited in the summer of 2016. And then everything fell apart. My aunt got ill. And so my parents had to basically be taking care of her constantly. She eventually passed away. Then their health both turned for the worse, to the point where they can't travel. They basically are kind of like, not that they're completely homebound, but they can't really do much. They outright told me, there's no way we could fly out there, you know what I mean, to spend time with you. We just can't. So, you know, it's life. And I was like, damn, the whole plan fell apart from the get-go. You know, we were planning on this, just within 2 years, the whole thing stopped. So, you know, sucks. What can you do, right? But I hear you. And it's not just them, too. I have other relatives and other friends and things that I hear about all the time. It's like, damn, this person passed away. Passed away? That's insane. They were, you know, young. They were vibrant. They were healthy. How did this person pass away out of nowhere? The older you get, the more this stuff hits you. And the more it hits you, the more you realize what's actually important in life. And that's when you mature up and you stop being an asshole. At least for me, that's exactly what happened. Like, I outright admit, when I was younger, I was an immature asshole. I was a troll. I was a jerk. I said and did irresponsible things. I didn't really give a fuck. And then as I got older and I realized I have limited time on this planet, and I have limited time to spend with people on this planet, and there's people who are very near and dear to me who I may not be able to see or do stuff with much longer, things hit me like a ton of bricks. I think it's time to change my life. It's time to change who I am as a person, as a creator. It's time to, you know, do things better for myself, for my family, and to basically not be an irresponsible douchebag only out for myself for the rest of my life. And a lot of people, I think, will come to that realization when they hit a certain age. For me, it was like the last 7 years of my life that basically this has happened. I was like, oh shit. But for a lot of people, it's just different things that happen, right? Different things that hit them or whatever. But I also feel like that's why a lot of people on the internet don't have that level of self-awareness or that level of maturity, because they're just not in that situation right now. Maybe if they were, all of a sudden their attitudes would change. But, you know, for me, I literally could not be someone who would be okay making a living being a disgusting, nasty person to people all day, every day. Like, I just couldn't do it. You know what I mean? Like, I could never live with constant drama, internet bullying. I couldn't do it. I every once in a while you want to joke around or whatever, but for me to do that seriously, it actually would hurt me inside, knowing, you know, what I know about the human condition. So, and call me different than others, I guess that's fine. But, you know, it is.
Then DSP goes on to talk about how healthy he is, and claims he only eats turkey and chicken now. And as Rent and Liar points out, your wife is 400 pounds, and you look like you're dying. Who's this healthy LARP for? Then he booted up the game, and we have a quote from DSP. Don't tell me left, you have to tell me where it is. That is right. You better tell him what he wants to hear, otherwise ban, ban, ban. Gone. forever. And would you look at that? Another stream, another person who's never chatted before, never said anything, becomes a member, and then starts gifting memberships. Funny how that keeps happening. DSP doesn't care how gross he is anymore. Finger right up the nose, searching for gold. When I put this out, I feel like DSP has snapped, and he's doing a Norman Bates thing with his wife. And DSP again pushing back on the idea he wants to do DSP smells with a clone. And he says, the only way clones smell different is if you don't shower. Then we have next gen guy who points out, perfumes smell different on everyone due to individual skin chemistry, body temperatures, and skin pH. And DSP is pissed, cause he's working so hard on Kick. That is right, he says reading 2 different chats is difficult. Then it happened, guys. DSP got partnered on Kick. So this means, not only does he get paid weekly for subs, he also gets paid hourly by Kick every time he streams. And this is the same guy who says he's crowd-funded individual. He doesn't take referral codes, he doesn't work for corporations, he doesn't take money from them. However, he gets ad revenue from Google/YouTube, and he also gets hourly pay by Kick. So how exactly are you 100% crowd-funded, Phil? And not only that, he started begging for more money because he became a Kick partner. That is right. I make more money now, so give me more money from the audience as a congratulations for me making more money. Make that make sense. Then of course you knew this was coming. Since he's now a Kick partner, he's talking about how Twitch treated him so bad and Kick is the future, dude. And look at that. He plays Pirate Yakuza and in the title, Special Kick Partner and 15-year celebration. Pirate Yakuza concludes. So he's celebrating today as the 15-year anniversary of the first time he uploaded a video to his gaming channel. Now there's one problem with this. The trailer on his gaming channel is from April 15th, 2010, which makes this a day late. And also, if he's referring to his first gameplay video being uploaded, it was on April 17th, 2010, one day early. Either way, he's a jackass. Then DSP kept dying in Pirate Yakuza, and he didn't save. So he was upset, pissed at the game, and started skipping dialogue in the game. And I put this out, and this has to be explained to me. And spoiler, I know it's greed. The Dents really need to ask DSP, since now he gets paid for his Kick subs weekly, and also gets paid hourly from Kick, will he lower the stream goal? Remember, he said the goal was to make up for lost revenue since moving over from Twitch. And DSP went on this huge rant about how he's morally better than everyone else. He's never had to change, and says despite moments of weakness, he chose the better path online and didn't have to screw people over and sell out. Spoilers, he did both. And this was absolutely funny. So DSP does a long speech about how he gets paid hourly on Kick and doesn't have to rely on getting just contributions, but then immediately starts begging people to support because he has a streak going on of hitting the goal. And DSP was upset that not more people were showing up and supporting Yakuza. It's almost like it's a boring thing, and you're boring, and nobody wants to watch either one of you. We have a quote from DSP. I have an upgraded studio now. My life is the best it's ever been. And as Kinda Sav says, DSP as his wife, parents, and bunnies are dying. And of course, every Yakuza game, he's struggling to stay awake. What a shock, every stream is exactly the same. And now DSP's gonna go on a rant about how YouTube used to be about passion, and you didn't need a production team. Of course, this is a projection of how insecure he is, because he wants to do lazy content. If it was up to Phil, he would still be pointing a camera at the TV. But the problem is, once more competition happened, that were better than him, that had more skills than him, that put on better content than him, people kept going away from him. And he thinks that is bullshit.
Oh, in my eye. What are some of my most memorable moments from the last 15 years? I mean, there's been so many, right? If you're looking back from 2010 when I started, you know, those early days of being able to basically do absolutely anything and just turn on a camera and record it, and everyone loved to watch because basically YouTube was a different place back then. Today, the internet is a very toxic, bully-filled place, but back then it was more like everyone just enjoyed the fact that content was free No one was yelling at you that your content sucks and trying to bully you and shit. Instead, it was just enjoyment, pure enjoyment. So I could pop in literally any game, old, new, indie, AAA. I could go on a trip. I could eat a sandwich, right? I could just sit around and shoot the shit with my friends. I could play Street Fighter. Everyone just loved the fact that I was sharing my life with people on the internet. It was something new and different and fresh and interesting. And then when you could monetize it and you could just literally put ads on anything and make hundreds of dollars, it was ludicrously ridiculous and fun and just silly. And then at one point it changed where everything's ultra serious. Everything has to be highly produced. Everything must be professional grade. Everything must have thousands of dollars of investment and production value in it. And it must either be monetized by advertising a bunch of crap so you make a ton of money that way, or you got to be a toxic jerk to people. Like, it just changed at one point. You know what I mean? But I didn't. So because I didn't change, I became the dinosaur of content creation while everyone else says, well, we passed you. It's like, well, you didn't really pass me. What you did is you changed content creation for the worse. You made everything toxic online, and I decided not to play your game. So the fact that I'm still here after 17 years and I'm making a good living and I'm actually at the top of my game right now is kind of a fuck you to them. All those people who said, oh, you're doing it wrong. Oh, you fucked up. You got to change. You got to evolve. And I said, well, maybe I just don't want to hurt people, you know? But there were so many memorable moments over the years. It's too many to count. I'd have to sit down and kind of think, like, what were the biggest things? Probably the first time playing epic different game series, right? Having the most chill streams for the first time. First time I ever played Minecraft. Going on a trip, right? And actually vlogging from like a convention center and stuff like that. Attending E3, stuff like that. There's a million things I could talk about, you know? Pretty awesome. Spawn Killer to the $1.35. Remember, before YouTube, we had to use GameFAQs. Yeah, everyone, that's how you got all your information about games, was GameFAQs, seriously.
And it's funny, the night stream of Pirate Yakuza, so far, was the only one he didn't hit his goal. It was also the same stream he announced he's a Kick partner, but I'm sure that's a coincidence. Then we have some Kick band names from this day, including One for the Road, We Know You Dye Your Hair, Ode to Broken Toilet, Career Parents Marriage Dead, Chaos Realm 01 Catherine, and Idiot Wants to Review Cologne. And that brings us to Thursday, the final day of the week for DSP. That is right, he has taken Friday off to celebrate his wedding anniversary, which I don't understand why he didn't take last week off on the actual day of his wedding anniversary. But it's DSP, nothing makes sense. And we start off with Tom Campbell from Cultaholic, who shows a PWR better than DSP sign. And speaking of PWR, it appears, according to him, he's getting death threats from DSP's dents.
Okay, we got no girls allowed. That's definitely the way I live my life. Let's see what he's got in his mind. How are you tonight?
Hey, what's up, PWR? I'm good. How you doing there?
Good, man. What's on your mind?
Well, you know what? I'm never going to say that I hate the other product.
Right.
Because I never would have found you if it wasn't for the other product.
Oh, well, I appreciate that.
I mean? But, man, you know, he's saying that he doesn't want to go see his parents who are dying.
Right.
Because there's no good restaurants near them.
Oh my God, you're cracking me up with that one. I have no opinion. I have nothing to say. I don't want to really speak about that other product at this time. You know, there's so many threats I'm getting and all this crap. But that's ridiculous. And that just shows, you know, the level of, you know, care he has for his family. So that's all I have to say.
Yeah, the people that loved him most, you and his parents, he turned his back on. He's a real sick guy, but we love you, buddy.
Thank you.
And DSP puts this out on Twitter. Today's first stream is live. Join me for a great podcast where I'll live react to the Mario Kart Direct from this morning. Then it's more of the awesome puzzling blueprints. And look at that, DSP cosplaying as a retarded Max Payne. And last week, the guest host of Smart Guys had to cancel because of emergency. And DSP says tonight, it's not even guaranteed that he's going to be on the show. And he's building it up as if it's a big thing. Diapers will be filled, as he says. And then this is DSP's quote on getting hourly payments from Kick. It's pretty awesome. It kinda, guarantees you're making some money even if you're not doing anything else. That is right. DSP is so happy he's getting money for nothing. This is what he always wanted, dude. Then again, he never does anything and he still gets support. Then he watched the Mario Kart Direct and he was upset that the cow in Mario Kart isn't called Moo Moo because it's the cow from Moo Moo. And look at that, could Nintendo be trolling DSP? The length of the Direct was 16:51. Then DSP declared that gaming has reached a glass ceiling. A glass ceiling is a metaphor usually applied to women, used to represent an invisible barrier that prevents a given demographic from rising beyond a certain level in hierarchy. Again, another thing that DSP doesn't know the meaning of. Then he was asked, what is the hardest games that exist? And his answers were Street Fighter Online and Call of Duty Online. And with Mario Kart having an open world mode, you know what that means. Guys, give me $50 and you can decide which location we go to, dudes. Just like Microsoft SimFlight, the DSP refused to start playing the game unless he got $50 in support. What a shocking twist right there. Then I decided to go into DSP's Kick Chat, and I should have known the answer of what was going to happen right away anyways. But I'm a bit of a dumbass, and I pointed out that he gets paid weekly for Kick subs and hourly by Kick. And I asked if he would ever lower the goal. And you know what happened after that? Ban, ban, ban. Gone. Forever. Get fucked, Dashfire. Then apparently a fan bought too much stuff off of Temu and asked DSP if he needed anything for his business, all the donated stuff. But DSP refused because it's from Temu, it's cheap stuff. He's not gonna use that, dude. Then apparently the Flatman in Flatman B represents him believing that the earth is flat. Amazing fans you have there, Phil. Just absolutely amazing fans. Then he talked about the stream where he made $41 and he said, we didn't hit the goal. It's not a big deal. Even though throughout the stream he kept saying, guys, come on, let's hit the goal. Why aren't you giving me money? Come on, let's go. And after this point, he kept saying, come on guys, let's hit the goal. We can do it. We're gonna do it. Come on, who's gonna do it? Who's gonna give me that tip? The big super chat? Come on, let's go. Let's get it going. What an asshole. Then would you look at that? DSP got $152 at this point, and 120 of that came from one person. And guess what, guys? You're never gonna believe this, because this is a shocking thing that never happens. It's from a person who never said anything in the chat, first-time viewer, became a member themselves, and then gifted memberships. I mean, it's crazy thought, isn't it, dudes? So this is DSP's Blueprints playthrough in a nutshell.
What in the hell am I looking at here? Periodic table of elements.
And would you look at that? DSP Gaming, 184 people watching. Raw Phil, 474 people watching. I wonder why he hates Raw Phil. Then he went on a rant about how he's better than everyone else. His morality is better than everyone else. And he refuses to take money from a big corporation, even though he's now getting paid by Kick and Google. But again, he says he'd rather be a crowd-funded individual. That is right, he'd rather take SSI than a sponsorship and from a corporation, even though he does both. And then we get the smart guys. And you're probably wondering, what the hell is this picture? Who is it? Well, there's a person behind those curtains, and he's gonna pretend to mess up like the Shockmaster. And then it was revealed DSP's big surprise for his third and final co-host, and it is this guy. You're probably wondering, who the hell is this? That's exactly how everyone thought. Apparently this is Galahoo or Galaholi or Galajackass or Galahole, whatever the fuck his name is. Apparently, PPP before Smart Guys had another wrestling show, and this guy was his co-host on that show. And the reason DSP brought him on is apparently he had dirt on PPP. But remember, dudes, DSP doesn't get into drama. So what does he do? He brings someone else on so they can dish the drama. He can sit back and laugh about it. But remember, dudes, he's not into that stuff. Then we have Blooper. DSP has a huge buildup on this guest that would fill our diapers, and not a single person knows who this is. And then all the gossip started, and apparently he talked about how PPP had all these e-girls and e-relationships, And DSP, who's not self-aware at all, kept saying, I don't understand these e-relationships. Like, it's not a real relationship. You're not getting to know the person. I don't get it. It's weird. Remember, this is the same guy who the last 2 relationships were Cat and Panda. Both met online, both talked online, and then moved in. And then Galahoo threw accusations of PPP defending a pedophile, and DSP and his morality was saying how bad that is, and that's not a good look. And it tells you a character about who he is, PPP. And throughout the whole thing, in my mind I was like, you mean like Derek, Phil? Like Derek. You know, thanks Derek, I appreciate that. The guy you gave special treatment to refused to ban until money came in effect. And who knows? He's probably under a sock account right now. And of course, this person is part of the sector, so if you think about it, after his breakup of Kino Casino, he started trying to recruit the Dead Avengers. RTU, Ralph, his mod, Snaggletooth, now Galaholi or Galahor or whatever the fuck his name is. All the people that go against Kino Casino. And we have Diego Fan. DSP reacts, is this your big own on Kino Casino? Bringing on a guy who was raided by the FBI for child porn on his hard drives. That's a big oof, if true. Then we have Poems Past. DSP says making money isn't a measure of success while directing it towards PPP. Moments later, he brings up how he's hidden his goals, which makes him successful. Make that make sense. So let's hear from Galahor himself and what he has to say.
But PPP is a death fact, right? His only option is an e-relationship because he can't physically, right now he can't physically leave the house, you know? At the time, he could barely get to the toilet, you know? And then when he was with Surfer, so he was basically, you know, immobile. He's basically handicapped through fat, right? He can't leave the house, and any girl was going to go out with him, she would have to come to him. And I mean, frankly, I don't want to get into the fat chicks. I'm very fat. I don't feel comfortable with that. But I mean, that's the actual reason, right? That's why you would do that.
Okay. I guess that makes sense then.
And
yeah.
But you know, and there's no fucking. Frankly, I want to shame the guy for that. The shame comes from the choice in the e-girl, right? Because this e-girl Snacks was, I don't know, I'll start with the least crazy allegation, which I know to be true, and then go to the actual like bad stuff. So
okay.
This Snacks
again,
e-girl,
for the record, I know nothing about what we're about to talk about. This is all first time for me. I have no idea what any of this is. and for the record, because some people in chat are like, what's going on right here? It's this simple, all right? PPP right now is riding high. And the reason he's riding high is because he caught lightning in a bottle, all right? What it sounds to me like is he was someone who was a LOLCOW on the internet, and he knows it. He knows how bad of a LOLCOW he was. He was in LOLCOW circles, the sector, and he was making content and all that. And at some point, he somehow stumbled upon the perfect formula. I want to do a show with someone else, formerly kind of from this group, and we're going to basically make fun of everyone else, and we're going to act like we're the high horses above everybody else. But in truth, here's the truth about all of this, all right? Anyone who involves themselves in this kind of content and actively wraps themselves up in it on a daily basis is no better than anyone else. At any given day, you're going to fly too close to the sun, something's going to come out, and then you're going to be...
And DSP, the guy who always says, drama is bad. I don't want to be part of drama. And drama is for the mentally deficient. And you need to seek help if you like drama. Is now talking about drama and bringing other people on to talk about other people's drama. How much of a hypocrite can you be, Phil? Let's see, the first guy you brought on, Ethan Ralph, was a convicted sex offender. Then you got the meth head, Cypress TV. And now you got a guy who was raided by the FBI for child porn charges. That's great company you have right there, Phil. Might as well throw Derek in there and they can all get along. Then we have a quote from That Being Said. So DSP 3/19/2025. It is time to explain to you how over the last 8 months and the last couple of years, all my plan has finally come to fruition. Which he said, I am the king snake, I snake them. It was my plan all along. DSP on 4/17/2025. I had no intention of snaking them. So what was the 666 podcast straight out of fucking hell all about, Phil? And then DSP projecting again, said PPP is depressed, looking for friends, and also called him gay, and how he wanted to bang Phil. And yes, this is about the Florida trip yet again. Then we have Galahole. PPP would have pictures of girls with their heads in a toilet. DSP doesn't say anything. Galahole. Pics of their feet. DSP. Ew, gross. This to me shows that DSP has this huge scat fetish and degraded women fetish. Absolutely disgusting. And then Galahore is going to talk about how PPP was a feeder. Of course, DSP knows all about this with his feeder wife.
But this woman literally sent him like boxes and boxes of candy. I had the theory that she was like a death fetishist, that she would send him boxes and boxes of candy and cookies and shit to get him fatter and fatter.
Maybe.
Then I pointed this out. Reminder, he said 4 weeks ago this saga was ended. He didn't need to bring him up again. Kino Casino, that is. Then we see the full Kino Casino saga ends March 19th, 2025. And see, it says the saga ends. Yet he's still talking about it. And then Kinda Sav found Galahore's incel YouTube channel, and one of them streamed 3 years ago, renouncing the path of the incel. Then look at that, 179 people watching Smart Guys versus 402 people watching PWR. And I decided to look at his other videos, and there's one video in particular where he defends the word cuck, saying it's okay, and also talk about a partner being a sex worker. He used the F slur and the hard R N-word. Great audience you got there around you, Phil. And then I saw this. What an amazing picture this is. It's very true to life. That big head, skinny arms. This is amazing. And shout out to Bidenos for making this picture. And that's how the week ended. If you guys like that, click that like, share the video, leave a comment below, hit subscribe. We're almost at 3,000 subscribers. So click that like and subscribe. Subscribe to my other channels in the description or on the end cards. And as always, I love each and every one of you. Hope you're all safe, healthy, and happy. Peace and love.